Hey everyone, welcome back to Bit by Knit with me, Jenny. I'm here with you guys today on the west coast of Canada in beautiful British Columbia. And today is kind of a rainy, gloomy, sunny, all over the map day for weather. It's June the 27th. You know what? I don't even know. Yes, June the 27th today. My kids are on summer break. They've actually been on summer break for a week now because they're in middle and high school. So there's going to be probably some noise around, but yeah, they're home. So today I've got two finished objects to talk about. I've got 3 or 4 works in progresses and just one acquisition to talk about today. I am wearing one of my finished objects from the last episode, which also happens to be part 1 of 2 finished objects because I made 2 of them. So I thought I would wear the one that I showed in the last episode today, and I will be showing the finished object part 2 in this episode. So we'll start with what I'm wearing. I'm wearing the Coco Loco tee by Twin Stitches Designs. I test knit this for her last month. I think it was last month, or like part of April into May. I don't even know. It was test knit not too long ago, and she just released the pattern last Friday, I believe, with also a tank top version as well. It's also called the Coco Loco tank, but it has different measurements. I believe it has negative ease or just like 0 ease, whereas this one is meant to have positive ease. And so yeah, I test knit the T version, but I did get the tank top version when it came live, which I actually got for free because of being a test knitter. She offered free pattern of our choice from her pattern selections as a thank you for being a test knitter. So that was pretty amazing. So I picked that because I really liked that version as well, but I was not able to test knit it. So yeah, I switched it up for just my normal knitting now. So for this shirt that I'm wearing, the Coco Loco tee, it is it's recommended to have 4 to 8 inches of positive ease, which is 10 to 20.5 centimeters of positive ease. I didn't get that with this version. I don't even think I got really any, like maybe 2 centimeters of positive ease. I didn't. So for this version, long story short, this was version 2 of the test knit because I ran out of yarn for version 1 and I was worried I was going to not have it arrive in time to finish that first version. So I quickly knit up a second version, which is this one. And I did not do a gauge swatch for this version because I had done a gauge swatch for the first version and I just wanted to knit it and get it done so that I was on time for the test knit to be complete. I kind of assumed, if you will, that this would have the same or similar gauge swatch as my other yarn. I don't know why, it's a different yarn, but it's fingering weight. But I wasn't too concerned, so I just went with it. And because of that, I did end up with a bit of a closer fitting t-shirt than my original version that I knit for the test knit, which I'm not sad about. I actually like the fit of this one a little bit better. I think it feels a bit more comfortable. I do notice, like with this one I was talking about in the last episode, it doesn't, the collar doesn't like gape out when I lean down. I don't find that I have to like cover up anything. I'm not worried about exposing myself when I'm leaning over in this, even though it is like a scoop neck or a round neck here. And it does come kind of, like, I won't want to say it's far down. It's just not really high up on my neck or anything. So the risk is kind of there, I guess, but it has a good shape that I don't actually show off anything when I lean over in this. And like the back of it comes up nice and high on my back there. So it's not like, it's not pulling down at all. There are, shoot, I'm trying to remember if there's short rows. It's been a little while. I can't remember if it has short rows or not, but it does start at the back and then you pick up for the front. So I don't think there's short rows because yeah. No, I'm pretty sure there isn't. Okay. But you start with the back and I think you knit it a little bit longer than the front. Whatever, it doesn't matter. It just does hit nice where it sits on my back of my neck. And I did, so you do the whole garment first and then you pick up to do the neckband and the sleeves, and it's a twisted rib, half twisted rib. And I did pick up more stitches on this version for the neck and for the sleeves. I picked up the right amount, I should say. I picked up the recommended amount on this version on my other one that I'm going to show in a minute, I picked up less because I was worried that it was going to be too loose. Or like not even too loose. Loose isn't quite the right word, but you know how sometimes if you pick up too many stitches, it kind of flares or it looks like it doesn't cinch nicely. I was worried of that happening. So I picked up a little less, and it's okay. It does look fine with the bit of less stitches picked up, but I do think that the sleeves on the other version are a bit tight because of that. So I might have to go back and redo it. I did block it pretty severely for the sleeves to just help it on the other version to help it relax a bit more, so that did help. But this one I picked up the recommended amount and I didn't have to worry about that. And the sleeves fit pretty nice. They're like not too tight. They're nice and loose. It's a nice drop shoulder. You're actually not like, when you're picking up the sleeves, you're just, all you're doing is you're doing the cuff here. You're not knitting any more down. So that's really nice. I did the size 2. Did I say this yet? I don't think so. I did the size 2, which is for a bust measurement of 34, which is my actually exact bust measurement. So it does look like it has a good amount of ease around my bust, but when I did the final like tape measurement of it, it was less than the recommended positive ease. So I can't remember what my numbers actually were. For the yarn, for this version, I used okay, I have a good amount of the colorful yarn left. I think I have like a half a skein here. I weighed it and it's like 54 grams, so I used less than a skein for the striping. And this is from Cornbread and Honey and dyed yarns, and it's called July Feeling. It's a fingering weight, 100% superwash merino 3-ply yarn. So I'm not really sure what I'm going to do with the rest of this. I can make another one. And for the white, I just used some undyed yarn that I got in a knit crate box years ago. It's just an undyed superwash, 100% superwash merino fingering weight as well. It doesn't say if it's 3-ply or this, I don't know if it's the same as my colorful one for that, but they work really well together. And it's just, I have about a half a skein left and I had to use 1.5 skeins of the white to finish this top. Yeah, so I'm really happy with how this one turned out. It's so comfortable. I love wearing it. It's probably one of my favorite knits to wear. I've knit several garments, and yeah, I just love the feel of it. The yarn is really soft and comfortable. I do like fingering weight yarn on me, and it's, yeah, if it's lovely. You use 3.75 millimeter needles for the body and 3.5 millimeter needles for the ribbing. And I met gauge with my first swatch, and so I stuck with the recommended needles. Okay, so I'm not going to go over all that information again. I should have actually showed off the other one while I was saying all that. So here is my first version, but second finished version of this Coco Loco tee. And so for this yarn, I used Rowan yarn that I bought in PEI. I forgot to talk about the yarn, I think, in more detail last episode, so I'm really sorry about that, but we'll do that today. So this is, now that it's finished, I guess it makes sense. Makes sense to go over that anyways. So it's Rowan yarn, Rowan sock yarn, more specifically. And one of the colors is color 00011, and the other color was 00012. I think one was called Ash and dark blue or navy blue or something like that was the other one, if you look on the website. But on the tag itself, I don't think it has a name. And it's 400 meters per ball. It is 75% wool and 25% polymade yarn. So for the yarn, when I bought it in PEI, I misunderstood the amount that I was going to need, so I bought just 1 skein of each, thinking that that was what the pattern was calling for, but I was wrong. It was calling for more of the main color than I realized. So as I was knitting it up, I was realizing that I was running out of the yarn pretty quickly, way more quickly than I should if I wanted to make it through the whole garment with that yarn. And I realized that I didn't have enough, so I had to order some more, and the only place I could find the yarn that I needed that didn't have an exorbitant amount of shipping costs was from the same store that I purchased it originally in PEI, which was Fleece and Harmony, I believe is the name of the store. And so I ended up ordering from them again to get one more skein of the main color, the ash color, the light color. But in the meantime, it was going to take like over a week to get it here, and that was when it was unsure if a postal strike was going to happen again. So I knit this in the meantime just so I would be able to finish the test knit. I did get the yarn back in time to finish this test knit in time as well. I was like barely got this done in time, but I did end up getting it done in time at the end of the test knit. But I wasn't too worried because this one was done and I had done one. So yeah, so she did get finished, and it's like I said, the collar and the cuffs are a little bit smaller than the white one that I'm wearing, but I think it looks good all in all. This does have a little bit more of a it does come down a little bit further on me, and so I haven't done the test yet to see if it actually shows anything when I bend over, but because I knit it to the size recommended in the pattern, it is a little bit bigger on me, and so that does come down a little bit further. But that's okay. I still like it. I love the design of this tee. I think the yarn that I used for this version is a little bit more scritchy though. So I still like it. I still wear it, but it doesn't feel as comfortable as this one. And it also is a bit like, oh, it's also a bit warmer too. That's the other thing I wanted to say. It's a little bit warmer because it's a bit of a thicker fingering weight yarn than this one. So I can't wear either of them really in the heat because they're wool. There's no summer yarn in it at all. So I really can't wear it on any other day besides maybe a cloudy, warm, cloudy day. But like in full sun, no, neither of them will work for that anyway. So they're good transitional pieces. And I think that's all I needed to say about this one. Oh yeah, I did want to show my striping on the side here so you can see the transition in my colors. I think it looks pretty neat. It looks like a seam. I don't mind. It's not like, obviously it's not going to be perfect because you're switching colors, but it looks pretty nice. And Julie does provide instructions on how to do your color changes to make it look more seamless down the side of your garment. So that's really nice as well. And I'll show you what it looks like on the inside actually too. Yeah. So you're just carrying the yarn. So you're not cutting it or anything, just carrying it down the side. So I'm really happy with this. I can foresee more of these in my future, and I'm looking forward to doing the tank top eventually as well. It's a little bit lower on my list of when I'll be able to get to it, just because I will talk about this later in the episode, but my acquisition is going to be one of my next cast-ons, which is not the tank top version of this garment. Okay, so my next finished object is the Monday sweater by Petite Knit. So I've finished her. She's blocked. I still have 2 stitch markers on her, which I just realized. I have to take those off, but that's okay. Here she is, all done. I love this sweater. My only issue is I made the sleeves too long. The yarn did grow a bit more than I anticipated, and so the sleeves are a bit long on me. Am I going to do anything about that right now? No. I think what I'm going to end up doing, and I'll probably put up some video of me wearing this with my plan, is I'll just roll the sleeve, make it look kind of trendy, rolled up, because it is, it kind of reminds me of just like a cozy sweatshirt. It's not a fancy sweater by any means, especially with the striping on it. So I'll probably just roll the sleeves up for now and see if that'll be comfortable enough for me to wear it like that. If I do have to go back and remove some length of the sleeve, that kind of makes me sad because then I have to adjust my striping and I don't want to do that. So that's why I kind of just want to leave it. I don't want to have to redo. I pretty much would have to go back quite far to redo the striping to get it to look like the striping that I have here in order to get the length that I need. So I'm not interested in doing that at all. So we're just going to leave her and play with rolling the sleeves up. The length is good. The fit is good. It is oversized on me, but that's, you know, the cozy factor right there. So I'm happy with it in all. I just have to figure out if I'm going to be able to live with the length of the sleeves and just roll it up and be extra laid back with it like that. So we'll talk about the sweater a bit before I go on to the yarn. This is, again, it's the Monday sweater by Petite Knit. I started it on, you know what, I don't even know when I started it. I didn't write it down on my notes here. It's written down somewhere, but I did finish it on June the 15th, so I can tell you that at least. Finished it on June the 15th. I did the size small, which is for a chest circumference, a finished chest circumference of 110 centimeters or 43¼ inches, which is almost, it's pretty much 10 inches bigger than my chest circumference. So it does have a lot of positive ease, which is the recommended amount of positive ease, I believe. It's actually, I think it calls for like 20 centimeters or 8 inches of positive ease, so I'm a little bit over that, but that's okay. It calls for a size 3.5 millimeter needles for the ribbing, which is what I used. And then it calls for 4 millimeter needles for the body, but I did it in 5 millimeter needles because that's how I'm at gauge with 5 millimeter needles with my gauge swatch. And I do have that here still. So my little gauge swatch that I made worked with, I think, I don't even know, I might have done, I can't remember what size needles I used for the gauge swatch, but because of this, I knew to do 5 millimeter needles, so that's what I did. And the Monday sweater is knit from the top down. You're starting with the collar, you do folded over collar first, then you also do some short rows to get the shaping here. You can kind of see mine a little bit here, and I don't usually see my short rows, but they're kind of showing up with this yarn. I might just have to reblock it and see if that fixes that, but it's not so bad, but it does, like I do see it. And it's just like a raglan sweater and oversized, yeah. So all the ribbing is just like normal ribbing, no twisted ribbing or anything like that, and I kept it like that. And I did helical knitting all the way down because my yarn was hand-dyed yarn. Okay, we'll talk about the yarn. And the yarn that I used was from Yarn Dragon. It is their American DK, I believe. American DK Superwash Merino, just 100% superwash. And I bought 5 skeins of it and realized I wasn't going to have enough to do the whole thing with just the blue. So I did, that's why the striping is there. I did some striping to make sure that the yarn would make it all the way to the end. And I'm glad I did. I think even though the sleeves are long, I still don't think I'd have enough yarn without the striping if I had made the sleeves shorter. So I definitely feel like I needed that. The color is Adirondack. I always say it wrong. I don't know how to pronounce it. I'll show the label. And the yarn that I used for my striping was from a twice sheared sheep box, seasonal box that I got last year. And it is the Yarnaceous Fibers Bronto DK, I think it says, which is a bit of a different makeup. It is 85% superwash. Sorry, it's 85% superwash merino and 15% nylon. So it does have that nylon in it, whereas the Yarn Dragon is just 100% superwash. But I wasn't too worried about that. It was a bit of a smaller, like it wasn't as thick of a DK. So I don't think it shows up though. I think it works well with this yarn. And I do like the fact that it has a bit of, not variegation, but like the color is not solid in the striping yarn as well as in the normal yarn. So I think, like the blue yarn, so I think that it works really well together. It looks like it should kind of go together. And so I ended up with a little bit of leftover yarn after all was said and done. So I have like this tiny little nugget of the blue left along with the gauge swatch. That's all I have for that left over. And then for my colorful yarn, I have just little bits of it left as well. So maybe I can make a little yarn cozy out of the leftovers there. Okay, I think that's all I had for this guy. And I'm not going to be able to wear it until like September or October to know if I'm going to be liking the sleeves or not. But I will do a little video clip of me wearing it, so that'll give me a little idea. Okay, so on to works in progress, which is also, I have one half finished object in that, so we'll start with that. I did finally get back to my socks project that I had started several weeks ago, and I finished one of them. So this is my 1 out of 2 socks finished. So I got this striped yarn from Megan at Bramble Ridge as a gift. She didn't dye it. It was from Turtle Pearl, and she just had it on hand. She offered it to me. So I made one whole sock set with it, and I had still enough left over for a second sock. So I decided to do a contrasting heel, toe, and cuff to make it be a bit more than, I don't think like I would have gotten very far otherwise if I hadn't done that. Almost, I probably could have still gotten a shorty out of it actually, but that's okay. I chose to do it with a bit of a contrasting heel, toe, and cuff here to use all of it up. So I started, it's a toe up sock, which is this the first time I've done? No, I think my other one was a toe up sock as well. Which I really actually like. I didn't think I would like the construction, but I prefer it now, I think. It's so much easier to increase from a toe than to do the decreases, so I do like it. I just did a normal short row heel, and yeah, a normal 1x1 cuff, just I don't know, 7 maybe rows of that. And I finished off one skein of this, and I still have the other half right in here to do the next sock. I haven't cast it on yet, though. So this one is, like I said, the Turtle Pearl yarn. Yeah, here we go. Turtle Pearl yarn. It is 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. It's a 4-ply, and it is called Bah Humbug is the colorway. And the contrasting heel, toe, and cuffs is from Crafty Jack's Boutique. And it's their Tough and Tender yarn, which is a fingering weight 90% superwash targi and 10% nylon blend. And this colorway is called Silver Mist. And I have the skein for that in here. I bought a whole skein, and I just am using it as contrasting color for any socks I make. And then my stripe yarn there. So yeah, I'm going to be casting on the second sock hopefully soon and get going on that so I can have a completed sock maybe by the next episode. Who knows? We'll see. It is kind of low on my list. I don't wear wool socks, especially right now in the summertime, so I won't need this till the fall. And I'm just knitting that up on my 2.5? I think they're 2.5 millimeter needles because I just want it to be done faster. So I choose a bit of a bigger needle size. 2.5 instead of 2.75 millimeters. Or sorry, 2.5 instead of 2.25. There we go. That's what I usually use for my socks. And I think I cast on 56 stitches. I think I worked up to 56 stitches because it's toe up, so obviously I didn't cast on 56 stitches, but I'm pretty sure I worked up to 56 stitches, and that's just, yeah, a good fit for me. And that's all I think I have to say about that. It's just a plain sock. Oh yeah, I should mention, it's just a plain vanilla sock. It's just like, I think I went off of the tutorial from I can't remember. I'll put it here. well, I'm blanking on it, but it's just like I just went off that tutorial because it tells you how much to cast on for the toe and how many increases to do, and that's the only reason I use that tutorial. I don't need it for doing a vanilla sock. That's pretty standard. Okay, my next one that I'm going to talk about, I actually had started this a while ago, and then it was actually back in December that I started this, and I put it to the side because I made a mistake and I didn't know how to fix it. Well, I did know how to fix it, but I didn't want to do that because it involved laddering down to fix a mistake, and I was dreading that because I'd never done that before. But I was inspired to start it up again because I just really wanted to have this garment done. Other people are knitting it, and I felt like I just needed to bite the bullet and fix that problem. And it was actually very simple to fix, and it took me like 30 seconds to fix. So I don't know why I was hesitating for so long, but what I had essentially done wrong on this was well, let's talk about the garment first, I guess. So this is the Mixed Rib Cami by Florence Miller, handmade by Florence. And I had started this, I actually wrote it down. I started this back in December. Yeah, December the 11th, 2024, I started this. I don't remember when I stopped working on it, but whatever day that was, I stopped working on it shortly after starting it, and then I just picked this back up again on June the 22nd. I picked this back up again, so that's what I've been working on again. And so this is the back. So you're casting onto the back however many stitches, and then you're doing the mixed rib pattern. And I had made a mistake. I don't even know if I can see it anymore, actually, because I did fix it. But I had accidentally dropped a stitch, and when I picked it back up, I picked it up and put it on the wrong needle, so I knit it again. So I had an extra stitch, and I think I twisted it as well. So kind of a multitude of problems with that stitch, and that's what made me just be like done with this garment for a while. And then I finally did the bullet and dropped down and fixed that stitch somewhere. And it was just a normal knit stitch, or maybe it was a purl stitch, so I just fixed it at the back, so it was a knit stitch when you're fixing it. It wasn't, thankfully, the twisted stitch that I messed up, because I think that would be a little bit harder to fix. So I had blocked it, and then before I fixed it, just so I could see it better and decide if I still wanted to continue on and make sure it was meeting gauge, because I didn't do a gauge swatch, and actually I'm on gauge, so that's really nice. And then, yeah, fixed it and have carried on since then. So I did the whole, this is the back, I did the whole back to the length that you put it on hold until you join them together, and then you pick up stitches for the shoulders, and then you do you cast on a bunch of stitches here for the front. And I'm just working on the front now, working my way down. It is slow going because it's fingering weight yarn, and you're using, what size needles am I using? You're using, 3mm, no, mine are 3.25mm needles because I didn't have 3mm needles in my set, so I just went up to 3.25 without doing a gauge swatch, so that was risky. But here we are, and I am on gauge. So yeah, it's not too far along, it's slow going, but I think it's going to be really cute when it's all done. I'm doing the size 2, size B, second size in the pattern on the 3.25mm needles, and you do also use 2.5mm needles for an I-cord edging, which I didn't actually think I would need to do, but like my back stitch pickup, like your cast on for the very start of the project, it looks pretty neat. But then you do the backwards loop cast on here for the front, and that's looking pretty rough. So maybe I do need to do an I-cord edge. I mean, the back is blocked too, to a point. I blocked it. You can actually see where it stops, like right here. So maybe that's why it looks pretty nice with that cast on. And I haven't obviously blocked the front yet, so maybe that's why it's looking rough, but that's okay. We'll block it first maybe and just see, but yeah, I might still need to do that I-cord edge at the end. And I'll just bring this up close for you guys to see it a bit better. And show the back off. It's nicely blocked. I don't know if the color's coming out really nice on the camera, but it is like this really dark, deep, rich kind of orange color, orangey red color. I love it. The yarn I'm using, so I kind of had to, I'm pretty sure I'm right on the colorway. It is from Knit Picks way back when in one of their boxes, or sorry, not Knit Picks, Knit Crate, I mean, sorry. It's from Knit Crate. It's one of their boxes that I got way back when before they, when they were still a company. And I didn't keep the label for this one, so I had to look on Ravelry to try to figure out which one this yarn was, and I'm pretty sure it's the Vidalanan Sumptuous yarn, and the colorway I'm pretty sure is Smacker. So if I'm right on this, it is 400 meters for 100 grams. It is 80% wool, like merino, 10% goat, cashmere goat, and 10% nylon. So that's what the breakdown was from Ravelry. 80% merino wool, 10% cashmere goat, 10% nylon. And it does kind of feel like it could be that composition. The colorway looked right from the pictures on Ravelry, so I think that's what this one is. And I do love it. It's really soft. It's really nice. It's really lovely to work with. And I've got this much of the, it's not even a full skein. So what I had done was I had originally made a scarf out of this yarn, or shawl, and I didn't like it. I never wore it, and I made a mistake in it. So I decided to unravel it and make the mixed rib cami with it instead, which I did. And so this yarn is, I think this might have been what I didn't use. I think what's in this one is what I didn't use in the shawl, and then I still have the shawl's amount of yarn here as well, which is a bit more, it's more than 100 grams in this one, and this one is a less than 100 grams, so it equals 200 grams in total, but it's just not distributed equally because of how much I used for the shawl and how much was left over, if that makes sense. So this is what I'm going to be starting on pretty soon. This is getting pretty low here, and then yeah, switch to this. I know I will have enough yarn. I'm actually wondering if I'll have more than enough yarn, so I'm not worried. Watch me have to backtrack on that. Okay, so yeah, hopefully this will be done shortly as well. I am loving this pattern. It's really addictive. It's really nice to knit, and I'm really excited to have this garment. Because it is not a summer yarn as well, I'm worried I'm not going to be able to wear it in the heat, but it'll again be a nice transition yarn. And I think it will be good for things like when I have to go get my physio done on my shoulder, because I have to wear tank tops to that anyways, so this will be a good one to wear. It might be a little bit see-through though, so I'm not 100% sure I'll be able to wear it to like a physio appointment. We'll see. Well, yeah, find out when it's all done. So this is my Nantucket wrap by Michelle Frazzetta, Michie Fraz on all of the social medias. It is a wrap design that has the option of arm holes in it, so that it's optional, but I'm definitely doing them so that you can have a bit more of a cozy, comfortable fit with this wrap. And it is in a broken seed stitch pattern. I've got all the colors in it now. I'll have a picture up here of what it's supposed to look like in the end, but I kind of did the same coloring as the pattern has, but I didn't do that intentionally. I just kind of picked colors that I liked from the place that I bought this yarn, and it ended up being exactly what Michie did with hers, which is funny. She did use different yarn, and she did use a different main color, but just the stripes themselves, I thought it was funny that I just ended up picking the same colors that she did. I mean, it makes sense. It's rainbow, you know, you've got your red, orange, yellow, green, blue, but I didn't do that intentionally. It just kind of happened. And my red ended up, like, I think the color for the red's called brick red. I did think it was going to be a bit brighter than it turned out being, but it's almost like a pink red. But that's okay. I think the favorite for of these colors for me is this blue. It's just a really nice blue. But anyways, yes, so the Nantucket wrap by Michelle Frazzetta. It is a one-size-fits-all broken seed stitch pattern. I didn't bother doing a gauge swatch just because it's a wrap, it's not a garment, so I wasn't worried if it was going to be off gauge. You do use 4mm needles for this, so that's what I'm using. And she used Metallico, right? Yeah, Michelle used a yarn called Metallico, which is a sport weight yarn, so this is a sport weight pattern. I used a different yarn. I bought yarn from Galt House of Yarns. I always want to say Gant, I think, but I think it's Galt House of Yarns. And I'm just using the Drops Nord yarn, which is a bit of a warmer, I think, combination, because the Metallical Sport yarn is 50% baby alpaca, 50% silk, whereas this one is, let me see if I can find it. It's actually harder for me to see this one. Whereas what I'm using is 45% alpaca, 30% polymade, and 25% wool. So it is definitely warmer. The other one is almost a bit of a summer yarn, and this one's not. And I kind of chose that on purpose because I plan to use this on like cooler summer nights when I need a bit of warmth around like a campfire or something like that. So that's the plan. I'm still on my first skein of the main color, which is this nice kind of tan color. I actually don't know if they've got color names or just color numbers, but this one is color 7, and I'm not sure which ones these ones are, but they're like brick red, orange, yellow, green, and blue. If I remember, or if I can find it, I will put maybe the names up here, the numbers up here for this. So yeah, plugging away at this. And if you want to see kind of how the back looks, I was just carrying up the main color along the edge here. I've already sewn in all the ends because it was annoying me. So here's my, you can kind of see where I'm carrying up that color there. But on the front, and you're making an edge. You're doing the edge as you go. It's like a nice, I think, a slip stitch edge of sorts. So it does kind of curl in. I mean, I haven't blocked it yet, so it is potentially going to change. But right now, it kind of curls in, but not too terrible. But because of that, it does hide my carrying up this side edge here. So that's probably a good thing. It's not obvious. So yeah, hopefully I'll have that. My thought was it would be ready for when I go to the Kootenays in like less than a month now. I don't think it will be. But that's okay. It's still nice and still fun to work on, but I still have a ways to go. And it's not my priority because I've got too many other works in progresses here. So it's like middle range. I work on it. My main priority is a test knit, and then this one I work on between that, but I'm also working on the mixed rib cami between that and the socks between that. So there's a lot of options right now. I do have way too many works in progress, and I'm not even showing you all of them because some of them I haven't even touched. So I'm not going to show them. Okay. And then my biggest work in progress that I'm going to talk about now is a test knit. And I am actually more prepared today to talk about it than I was last time because I remember the name of it this time. Whew, okay, so this is the Fidalgo cardigan by Michelle Frazzetta, Michy Fraz, on all the socials. And I'm a little tangled right now, so I'm just trying to untangle it while I'm talking about it. And I am almost done with the body on it. So here she is so far, the Fidalgo cardigan. I'm down to the ribbing section now. I've done all my button band, all my buttons. My buttonholes are all done, and I'm just working the last couple I'm just working the last couple rows of the ribbing, and then I get to bind off and pick up for the sleeves. So there she is right now. So this cardigan is a top-down cardigan. It is a worsted weight pattern. Michelle used So Happy Jane Confetti worsted weight yarn. You could choose to use that yarn as well for the test knit or choose a different one. So I did pick a different one than that one, which I'll go over in a minute. But it is worked on 4.5 millimeter needles. You are doing the button band at the same time as the cardigan, so that's really handy. And it is a drop shoulder as well, drop shoulder cardigan, but she did make it within the pattern a little bit of a different shaping near the end of the sleeves to help with when you are picking up for the sleeves. Okay, so I'm probably not going to explain this very well, but she did it in such a way that when you pick up for the sleeves, it's not going to be like extra droopy or too much fabric on the under part of the sleeve. It is accounted for that, so it should have a really nice fit around the arm as well. And I'll put this on quick just to show you the length of it on me. Let's see. Can you see the length okay? Comes down right now pretty much where my t-shirt length is, so it's going to be a little bit longer than the t-shirt, which is perfect because I don't want an overly long cardigan. In the pattern, it does tell you that, you know, it's obviously knit to a certain length, and if you want to add more length, you can, of course. And just to be mindful of like your buttonhole placement if you do add length. But I didn't want to add length. I liked it how it was, so kept it to that length. And it's a, did I say it's a broken rib pattern? It's in a broken rib. And for some reason, the inside gives me so much joy because it's so straight and satisfying to see that I have made no errors in when I'm doing the pattern. Yeah. Okay, so the yarn I'm using is from Bramble Ridge. It is her merino yak silk, so it's it is 65% superwash merino, 20% silk, and 15% yak, and the color I'm using is called Thunder. This is a fingering weight yarn that I'm using, so I'm holding it double to get a DK. I'm holding it together to get like a DK, but it's still needing gauge because I did a gauge swatch with it as well, of course, because it's I'm trying to be very good with gauge swatches, but also it's a test knit, so I definitely need to do a gauge swatch for test knits. And I was on gauge for the gauge swatch, so I was good to go for this yarn. I did use a different color for the gauge swatch, and I know that's not ideal, but I didn't want to have to buy a whole skein of the yarn, wind it up, divide it into two, just to do a gauge swatch to find out that it wasn't going to work for me. And I had a little nugget of this one on hand, so I used it, and it was on gauge, so I just decided to go with it. I did not do another gauge swatch in the darker color, but I'm pretty confident that it will be enough. Close enough or exactly the same to not have to worry. So this is what she looks like all blocked. And yeah, so I'm very excited to have this finished. I'm almost onto the sleeves, so I'm getting there. The pattern called for, so for my size, I should actually talk about my size here quick. I'm doing the size 3. So I'll have a finished bust circumference of 39 inches, which is 99 centimeters. It's a bit smaller than the recommended ease, but I did want to have a bit of less ease in mine, so I chose a size 3. In the pattern, she tells you how many skeins you're going to need for the project, and I did the math to know how many I would need in the fingering weight, and I think I did it right, and it was 6 skeins from what I was understanding I would need. So I bought 6 skeins. I'm holding 2 at a time, and so it's technically in my head 3 then, but I've only finished, like I just finished holding the first 2 together. I finished it here, right down there, like just before my 3rd button band, just before I did my 3rd buttonhole. So that like lasted me a huge amount of time. That lasted me a huge portion of the project before I had to switch to the next skein, right there. And so I've got the, skein 2 and 3 on the go here. I still have 4 and 5 ready to go, but I still have a lot of this left, and I've only got a few more rows to go before I'm on the arm, on the sleeve. So I'm actually really hoping that I will either only just be dipping into that 5th and 6th skein, or maybe this will last me all the way through the sleeves. Wouldn't that be amusing? Fingers crossed. I mean, I've got the skeins there to use. I can use it. But the nice thing about not having to use all of those skeins is the garment won't be as heavy. It doesn't feel heavy right now. It's not weighing feeling weighted. But, you know, still, if I can use less, that's amazing. So yeah, I'm really happy with her. This is my main project. This is the one I need to get done. This is the one I'm focusing on, and I'm really enjoying the process of this one. A lot of the test knitters are already finished theirs, so they're all looking beautiful, and I'm really excited to have this as a finished object. I think that's all. Yeah. Okay, so Fidalgo cardigan test knit for Michelle Frazzetta. And I think the due date for that is the end of July. I'm really hoping I remember that right. It's written down. It's in the notes and everything. I just got a little bit nervous with it because when everybody's already finishing theirs, you just start panicking. Did I remember wrong when the due date is? But I'm pretty sure it's at the end of July. So I still have a bit of time. So that's all my works in progress I'm going to talk about. I'm not going to talk about my skirt project. I haven't gotten anywhere on that. My blanket project, I haven't gotten anywhere on that. So yeah, I don't think I have any other projects that I want to talk about. So on to my acquisitions, which is only one. Well, three, but they're for the same thing. So back in March, I helped Megan with her booth at Fibers West. And for that event, we wanted to make a uniform of sorts, if you will. And so we had chosen to make the pressed flowers cardigan, which I made. And so we are, and so Megan is now going to be at there's a yarn festival happening again in September. I don't remember the name of it, but it's a big one here in Canada. They have two a year, and they already did one on the East Coast. They had one, their Quebec one happened already, and then they're going to have one in Vancouver in September. And I'll put the name of it here because I'm blanking on it. It's some big, huge fiber festival that happens here in Canada. And so anyway, she's going to have a booth there, and I offered to help her at this event coming up in September as well. And so there's actually two of us that help her. The other gal helped at the Fibers West, and she's also going to be helping in the Vancouver one. And she wanted to make a uniform of sorts again for that. Well, she knit a garment for it, and then Megan was like, we should make this our next uniform. So I was like, yeah, let's totally do that. So I bought yarn for that. So we're going to be making the Sunday Swirl tank by Jessie May Designs. And her tank is a DK weight tank, and she used I think it was like a cotton merino blend. And so we're using the organic wool linen DK of Bramble Ridges, and I bought 3 skeins of that in the colorway Squall. It's a DK. It is, okay, hold on. It's 70% untreated organic wool and 30% linen for an organic wool linen blend. And I actually made a garment out of this already. It was the Brunch Crew Tee by Michelle Frazzetta that I made out of this yarn. It actually feels so nice. I love the way it feels knitting it up. A lot of people, like, you get various accounts on what people think of the feel, but I love it. And then the finished garment feels very nice as well. So this is the yarn up close. You can see all of the like linen little hairs and flecks. And yeah, so it's something I'm going to be casting on. I think I'll cast it on after I'm done my cardigan because it's not until like the middle of September that I need it, but I'm a little bit nervous about it because it is a lace, it's a lace framed cable columns tank top. And I've only done cables once, and it was on a scarf, and it was one repeating cable. And so it was easy enough, and it was enough in between normal knitting that it wasn't hard to do. But this one is much more cables. So I'm a little bit nervous about that. So I want to start it sooner than later so that I have time to do it. And if I mess up, it's not too big of a deal because I'm not on a time crunch as much. So that's the plan. I will be doing the size 2. The pattern calls for 3.25 millimeter needles for the body and 2.75 for the ribbing, I guess. So that's also like, it's pretty small needles. It's going to take a bit of time. The other girl that made hers already, she finished it in like a week and a half. She's a pro. I wouldn't call myself a pro. Okay, so that's my acquisition. Got 3 of those for that. And that is all. I am dabbling a little bit in sewing, but I'm not going to touch on that in this episode. I made a skirt. I sewed up a skirt. It was just a fun project, but I'm not wearing it out and about because it kind of looks funny on me. So maybe in the future, if I have other sewing projects, I might talk about it because I would be proud to show them. But this one's a little bit a fun first project. So we're not gonna worry about that today. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys in the next episode. Bye!